King of Staten Island is a movie directed by Judd Apatow and it stars Pete Davidson, co-written by the both of them. And it's about Pete Davidson. He is this 20-something slacker who doesn't really have a job. He doesn't really have any life goals. He's dealing with a lot of trauma in his life. And one day his mom starts dating a firefighter. And it's hitting him really hard because his dad was a firefighter and he died in a fire. And he basically tries to get control of his life, try to figure out what he's going to do with it, and that's pretty much it. So this movie kind of interested me for a while because I knew of the incident that inspired this movie. If you don't know, Pete Davidson, his father was a firefighter. He died of 9/11, and in fact, his character, Scott, is named after his father. So that's an interesting touch. And I was interested in this movie because, Pete Davidson was someone, he's on SNL, of course, and I never really got him. It's not that I thought he was a bad comic or anything. It's just I never felt like I really got him whatsoever. I never truly understood his appeal whatsoever. So, and after watching this movie, I actually really kind of understood him more. I think this is actually a really, really good movie, despite its length, but I'll address that. The main thing that works in this movie, Pete Davidson. He is really good in this movie. He manages to... he actually makes you feel very sympathetic towards him in all of his issues. Obviously, his father's gone, and he hasn't really dealt with that in a really cathartic way. He feels like no one's really listening to him, no one's really paying attention, no one really cares about what he believes in. Thought that was all really interesting. And he manages to both be mostly serious in this movie. He can manage to be funny like he is in his stand-up or even on SNL. The other actors do a really good job too. Bill Burr plays this firefighter who enters his life because of an incident, and he starts dating his mom, played by Marissa Tomei. He's really good as this tough-as-nails firefighter who really wants to get him to, make choices in his life, make the right decisions in life, and so does Marissa Tomei. They actually work really well together in this movie. Everyone is really good in this movie. Also, Maud Apatow, who's the daughter of Judd Apatow, she's in this movie. It's of course, because you gotta throw in your wife and kids in this movie. Actually, his wife, Leslie Mann, does not appear in this movie. His daughter does. And I thought she was actually really good. Their dynamic with Davidson, Tomei, and Apatow. You really believe that they're a family. And there are so many scenes in this movie where I just felt this is so uncomfortable. Because, a lot of people are, kind of saying all these great things about Apatow's character, and then you have Pete Davidson there, and no one's really listening to him. They really don't care. It's I thought that was very, very interesting as well. This movie has a great balance of comedy and drama. Judd Apatow's, most of his movies, they do rely on the drama more than the comedy, and I think this is one of the better movies where it actually worked really well. It approaches the subject matter very seriously. It's losing a loved one, losing a parent at such a young age, and how that can really affect someone, and how it can essentially really traumatize someone at such a young age. And it's this is the first time I felt like I really understood Pete Davidson. So, and he's Judd Apatow's been doing that recently with movies where it's he produced The Big Sick, which is about Kumail Nanjiani's relationship with his eventual wife and what they went through. So he's kind of getting more into that, and I thought, this is a really interesting career trajectory for you, Judd Apatow. Mainly the acting is really the best thing in this movie. Everything feels very believable and the story overall does feel very cathartic in a lot of ways. It doesn't really have an ending, unfortunately. And I think in most movies, I would say that doesn't really work for me. But here, it kind of does. It may seem weird, but, kind of like that it's open-ended overall. I guess if I had to pinpoint any problems, the movie is way too long. This movie's 2 hours and 17 minutes long. Like all other Judd Apatow movies, this movie could have been half an hour shorter, and it probably would have been great. But no, he has to really push it, I guess. So, I guess if I was in the editing room, I probably would have tightened a lot of scenes. Because sometimes they do kind of drag on for a little bit, but it never really... I was still interested. It never took my attention away. I will say King of Staten Island mostly works due to the nice blend of comedy and drama, the handling of a serious issue. The acting is great across the board, specifically from Pete Davidson. This is a movie worth checking out. I will give The King of Staten Island 3.5 out of 4 stars. See it. So, what's your favorite Judd Apatow movie? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.